We're up to video 9 here in our series talking about how to create demand for your DJ services with Dr. Drax. Drax, branding is such a huge topic, and we could go on this for hours. This could be almost another 10-part series here. But for some people, they just don't see branding as an important part of it. And I want to just give them an idea of why branding is important when it comes to your services and to make it so that they become in demand.
Well, it's simple. I did a whole thing on Drax Bites. You can go check that out. But really simple. What's the most popular soft drink in the world?
Coca-Cola would have to be it.
What is the most popular, well-branded beer in the world?
Oh boy, that one could be tough because I don't pay attention to that one. I know in Canada it's Budweiser, and across the United States, we're probably somewhere in that area. Right,
but if someone was to ask you, name a beer that you see its brand everywhere, who would it be? It'd be Budweiser.
Oh, for sure.
You
recognize that logo.
Exactly. Now, Coca-Cola spends millions of dollars on advertising. Why? They're already established as the soft drink. It's because it's reinforcement of their brand. They want their brand image, their logo everywhere. So your logo for your company, what does it embody about what you do? Do you have it everywhere? Do you have it available so it shows well in black and white, in color? What do you do to reinforce your brand? Jason Jani, we just were talking about, he hardly ever posts on Facebook without mentioning the SCE group.
Mm-hmm.
Why? DJs know who he is, but he continually drives his brand. You need to be continually driving your brand in your marketplace. And that becomes a function of marketing and having advertisements, and it becomes a function of the way you consistently deliver the service. But you actually need to have a brand. There has to be something. We talked in an earlier video about unique selling proposition. You need something that is unique to you because that becomes a brand point. It becomes something you do differently or better than anyone else.
And in Jason's example, Jason is unique and different, and Jason has become that brand. I mean, I think if you would just see a silhouette of the haircut and the glasses, there's a lot of people out there would say that's Jason Jani, because he has developed his persona and brand of Jason Jani so well that people know who he is.
Exactly. Back in the day, I used to wear really outrageous clothing for these events I did. I called them Drax wear.
Yes,
some people saw them at conventions because I would sport them just because. And people think, oh man, you're got some massive ego. It's like, no, I just want people to know what I do. And when I would come on stage, that was my brand.
Mm-hmm.
My brand had a loud, over the top style. Now, I didn't do that for a wedding, but for corporate events, for big rock parties, they were hiring that brand because they wanted that kind of crazy rock and roll sort of flair to it. Have a distinctive brand. If we were to think about the 80s, of all the bands in the 80s, who probably has the most distinctive look of all the 80s bands? There was plenty of big hair.
Oh, yeah.
There was plenty of mod suits. What band had arguably the most definitive brand as referenced by their frontman?
I would probably, the brand that is held on the longest would probably be Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi did great.
He did very well what he did.
But in the 80s, think about who's over your shoulder.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes, Boy George had that look and was the first one to really create that hat and the makeup and the different things. Yeah, good.
Exactly. And it's not that Bon Jovi didn't have a great brand. He did. But he had a great brand as a rocker.
Yep. But
his music was really his brand. Truly. I mean, there was nothing really memorable about John Bon Jovi's appearance. I mean, yeah, handsome guy. But to me, there's two bands in the 80s that really struck out to me. Flock of Seagulls and Culture Club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Because the dude from Flock of Seagulls, he had this crazy hairstyle thing going on, big hair, but it was all I remember back then thinking like, whoa, that takes some brass. I don't know if I could walk down the street with hair like that.
Yeah.
And we learned at Mobile Beat a few years ago about the power of a brand from Red Foo.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. The way he talked about that, how important it was for his staff or his team when they were going out in public to be promoting or to be on with their brand. So,
which meant wearing their funny clothes and
yes, all the time. Which was just, you think about that, it's like going to the store. Yep, we're going to dress the wild colors. We're going to get our hair fixed the way it's supposed to be and wear the glasses the way we were supposed to, because we're always branding.
Exactly. In the 70s, George Clinton, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, they had unique branding elements by the way they looked.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to think about is not just your appearance, but how can you create a brand that's memorable in the minds of consumers? That somebody that attended a party you did, a wedding or whatever, goes, that was a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm.
There was a brand presence, not something where you're continually marketing yourself overtly like a banner, but a brand presence.
Mm-hmm. Something different, unique, that speaks of you, to you, what have you, that people will be able to remember, instead of it just being, oh yeah, there was a DJ there Saturday night.
Exactly. Have a great logo, have great branding, have a great brand message. For example, the American Disc Jockey Association, the brand message is, we help DJs build and grow their business. Your brand message is, somebody says, oh, John, what is it you do?
Mm-hmm.
Disc Jockey News TV, we teach DJs through informative videos how to better their business. That becomes part of a brand message.
Certainly, yeah.
That's what you guys need to learn, is develop a brand message, develop brand points, and keep them tight and focused. And that's how you make a winning brand that sells.
And then that helps create that demand that we've been talking about in our video. So
it is. You do these things, you're going to create demand. Absolutely.
Excellent. We are up. Our next video is video number 10 in our 10-part series. We have got a link down below that's for the full playlist. You can click on that. Otherwise, we'll be back, if you're watching the playlist, with video 10 in just a moment. We're going to talk about, wrap things up with kind of how networking with others can help build that demand. So we'll be right back with our networking talk.